Hare, Hare Krishna. We continue reading from Bhagavad Gita as it is. We are on chapter 6, Dhyan Yoga. And we read the first verse yesterday. And the first verse that we read was, would someone like to read what we read yesterday?
Krishna is saying that Karma Yoga, acting in Krishna consciousness, is being a perfect sannyasi, a perfect yogi. Krishna consciousness is the duty of all living entities because we are all part and parcel of Krishna.
So yesterday I was just reading a excerpt by Prabhupada's, Srila Prabhupada on his talk. He said consciousness, we say consciousness, but consciousness means Krishna consciousness. He said when we say sunshine, we don't say only shine. He said there's no only shine, we say sunshine, right? So he's saying consciousness. Why do we have consciousness? Because Krishna is there. You know, our consciousness has to be Krishna consciousness. So like how Prabhupada puts it is like amazing, you know, makes everything, he puts everything in so much in the proper perspective. So we'll read from the text 2 today. Yam sanyasam iti prahur yogam tam vidi pandava nahi ashan yasta sankalpo yogi bhavati kaschana. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Is this font okay or you need me to make it bigger?
A little bigger would be good.
I'm sorry, a little bigger?
A little bigger would be good. A little.
Okay, let me see. I don't know why did it become smaller. Okay.
Yeah.
So is that better?
Yeah.
Okay. What is called renunciation? You should know to be the same as yoga, or linking oneself with the Supreme, O son of Pandu, for one can never become a yogi unless he renounces the desire for sense gratification. So what is yoga? What is the meaning of yoga? What is the yoga? What does yoga mean? Linking with the Supreme. That is the meaning of yoga. When we are saying bhakti yoga, when we are saying gyan yoga, when we are saying dhyan yoga, yoga means linking to the Supreme. That is what it is. So real sannyas yoga or bhakti means that one should know his constitutional position as the living entity and act accordingly. Now, bhakti, we say bhakti begins from the transcendental platform. What does it mean? Now we have to understand what is our constitutional position. Here, Prabhupada is writing, one should know his constitutional position as the living entity. Constitutional position as the living entity. We keep thinking that, oh, the living entity means the body. We are all living entities because we are the body. No, that is our material concept. You know, that our mind is not able to accept that, hey, I am not the body, I am a spirit soul. Individuality is to the spirit soul. The living entity is the spirit soul, not the body. The body is not the living entity. And so we should know our constitutional position as the living entity and act accordingly. So it's not that the living entity doesn't act. It's not that the soul doesn't act, and it's the body that's acting. That is something we are not able to understand. You know, we are thinking that what's acting is this body. But we have seen when the soul leaves the body, can that body act? Can a dead body act? No. But the body is right here in front of us. Then why isn't it acting? So it is our foolishness that we are thinking activity is to the body. But activity is actually to the soul. You know, we are thinking I'm acting right now is because I'm the body. That's why I'm acting. I'm in the body, and so that's why I'm acting. Once I'm out of the body, I don't need to act. How can it be? It's I am acting. I'm always acting, whether I'm in the body or out of the body. I will keep acting. Sugar is always sweet. Sugar can never stop being sweet. This is what we have to understand. And so, how should I act while I'm in this body? That is, Krishna says, that you act for my pleasure. And that will give you liberation. And then after liberation, you continue to act in devotional service. It's not that once we get liberated, we stop acting. No, we are always active. The soul is always active. The living entity has no separate independent identity. It's the marginal energy of the Supreme. So what is our identity? What is our identity? We are the marginal energy of the Supreme Lord. We are a part and parcel of the Supreme Lord. We are Brahman. Huh? We are Brahman. We are a tiny part of the Supreme Brahman. That is our constitutional position. So when he's entrapped in the material energy, he's conditioned. And when he's Krishna conscious or aware of the spiritual energy, then he is in his real and natural state of life. So right now, we are entrapped. We are in this body. We are inside this material body. And we are conditioned. We are thinking we are the body. But when we become Krishna conscious, when we become aware, I am a spirit soul. I am a part and parcel of the Supreme Soul. Then that is the natural state of life. That I am a soul and I am an eternal part and parcel of Krishna. That is Krishna consciousness. Therefore, when one is in complete knowledge and one ceases all material sense gratification or renounces all kinds of sense gratificatory activities. So what happens when gets complete knowledge? What we are thinking we are the body, that is our ignorance. We are thinking we are the body, acting in terms of the body, doing everything to make body happy. That is our ignorance. But when we understand the truth, complete knowledge, what happens? We understood, hey, I'm not the body. I don't need to work to enjoy myself in the body. And I don't need to renounce anything. Why? Because everything belongs to Krishna. It doesn't belong to me. So how can I renounce something? No, I just work for the pleasure of Krishna. That is Krishna consciousness. This is practiced by the yogis who restrain the senses from material attachment. But a person, one ceases all material sense gratification. So what I said was the Krishna conscious person. Now, when one is in knowledge, he stops to act anything for sense gratification, or he gives up all kind of sense gratification. One who is trying to say, okay, I'm not going to do anything material. But a Krishna conscious person, what does he do? He says, everything belongs to Krishna. My senses also belong to Krishna. Everything that I'm seeing, everything I'm experiencing belongs to Krishna. And so he's always Krishna conscious. That is the liberated platform. He's understood his position. He's understood his position. Therefore, a Krishna conscious person is simultaneously a yogi, a sannyasi, and a yogi, because he's linked himself to the Supreme. He's linked himself to the Supreme. So he's a yogi and he's a sannyasi because he's not wants any material sense gratification. So by becoming a bhakti yogi, a Krishna conscious person, by becoming a pure devotee, automatically one becomes a sannyasi and a yogi. The purpose of knowledge and of restraining the senses as described in the Gyan and Yoga processes is automatically served in Krishna consciousness. If one is unable to give up the activities of his selfish nature, then Gyan and Yoga are of no avail. The real aim is for a living entity to give up all selfish satisfaction and be prepared to satisfy the Supreme. So material life is, I want to satisfy myself. And spiritual life is, I want to satisfy the Supreme. A Krishna conscious person has no desire for any kind of self-enjoyment. He's always engaged for the enjoyment of the Supreme. So this is a liberated soul, a Krishna conscious person. He has no desire for self-enjoyment. He's already understood, I'm not the body. I'm a spirit soul. I'm a part and parcel of Krishna. And so he's always engaged for the enjoyment of the Supreme. One who has no information of the Supreme must therefore be engaged in self-satisfaction, because no one can stand on the platform of inactivity. No one can be inactive, even for a moment. Even for a moment, no one can be inactive. So if we do not have information of the Supreme Lord, then we are going to be engaged in satisfaction of our own self. Right? Because we have to act. We have to act. But if I have no information that I have to act for the pleasure of Supreme, I will keep on acting for my own pleasure. And that is material platform then, because I'm thinking I'm the body. So all purposes are perfectly served by the practice of Krishna consciousness. All purposes are perfectly served by the practice of Krishna consciousness. So by becoming Krishna conscious, we automatically become a sannyasi, we automatically become a yogi. And that is what Krishna is trying to say. Krishna is saying that you work in a way for my satisfaction till you're in the body. Why? Because that's going to let you get out of the material world. And you will continue to act in your position as a soul for my satisfaction. Why? Because that's your constitutional position. That is the real, that is his real and natural state of life. Real and natural state of life. But we are like, I don't want to work. Why should I? I'm going to become liberated and I'm going to become God. I'm going to do nothing. Nobody can tell me what to do. I will become independent. That means we are thinking I'm going to become God after I get liberation. But sorry to break it up, we can never become God. We can never ever become God. Why? Because we are not God. Nobody can become God. We can't become someone. We just have to accept who we are. And we are all parts and parcels of Krishna. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Yes. So you can write down something then of what we read in 6.2.
Consciousness means Krishna consciousness.
Yes, thank you.
And then you cannot become a yogi.
I'm sorry?
You cannot become a yogi until you renounce from the material desires and link with Lord.
So we'll say yoga means, that's
Okay.
what Krishna is saying, right?
Yeah.
Linking with the Supreme.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And sannyas means renounce, right?
Yeah.
Renounce. So what does a devotee do? A Krishna conscious person?
He knows his constitutional positions and act accordingly.
Knows his constitutional
Position.
and acts
Accordingly.
accordingly, which is
To
for the pleasure
of Krishna.
of Krishna. So then he automatically becomes a yogi and a sannyasi.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So it's automatically, you don't have to endeavor separately to become a yogi or a sannyasi. You just understand. That's what Krishna is saying. So till the time we have selfish satisfaction, desire for selfish
Or maybe you can put it,
satisfaction.
like material life is that
Oh,
you
yeah.
want to satisfy yourself, and
Yeah.
spiritual life is you want to satisfy Krishna.
Yeah, thank you. That's very good. Material life is we want to satisfy ourselves, and spiritual life is we want to satisfy Krishna, the Supreme, satisfy the Supreme. Krishna,
satisfy the Supreme.
the Supreme, that's what is mentioned here. Yeah. Was there anything else?
And if this is appropriate, that by becoming Krishna consciousness, all purposes are served.
By becoming Krishna conscious, all purposes are served. Nice. No one can be active even for a moment.
Yeah.
Inactive, I'm sorry. Even for a moment. Activity is for the soul, not for the body. Right?
Yeah.
Is for the soul, not for the body. We are always going to be active. Even in liberated platform, we are active. Even in liberated platform, we are active. Or even in liberated platform, soul is active. Can never be inactive.
Yeah.
Right? Can never be inactive. So if the soul has no information of transcendental activities, right?
Yeah.
Then the soul will act on material platform.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Will engage in material activities on material platform. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I think this is good. What do you think?
Yeah.
Anything else?
No.
What about the last one said that nobody can be God?
Yeah.
Which point does that cover up?
Well, what we were saying that because there was a point where we were saying that we have to act for the pleasure of Krishna, constitutional position, right? The natural state. We are thinking that I'm independent. We are thinking I'm independent. Right now, okay, I have to do all these things. But once I become liberated, I will become independent. I don't need to do anything. I'll become God. So for that point.
But it's not covered up in 11 points, right? Or
Yeah,
is
so
it?
I can write that. Yeah, so I can write that. I'm just trying to put, how do I start writing? Okay. No one can become God. We
After
can
getting
never become God. Huh?
after getting liberated, nobody can become God, right? No one can become God.
Even, even after getting
After
liberated.
getting liberated, no one can become God. Yes, even after liberated. Yes, this is something we have to understand, because we are thinking, oh, I will get liberated, finish. I'll become independent. Yes, no one can become God, even after getting liberated. Then, and our constitutional position is Krishna consciousness. That is our constitutional position. That's something we have to understand. So, Payal, did you want me to add anything
Point
to
4
the
is
last point?
point 4 is similar to point 12, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. Okay.
Yes. It's like explaining that point 12 is explaining the point 4 a little bit more clearly.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Only God is always God.
Yeah.
Only God is always God. We are not God. Yeah. So, did anyone else want to add anything to this?
All looks good.
Looks good. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bhagavad Gita ki jai, Shila Prabhupada ki jai, Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Hare Krishna.